Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Where is Zur, the IGN show where we find Zur and we look at his inventory. Today, you can find Zur on the planet called Nessus, technically a planetoid, actually, and he is hanging out in the Watcher's Grave area, so let's go and check it out. Once you land on Nessus, go ahead and pull out your Sparrow, zoom straight ahead, and you will find Zur hanging out on a tree branch where you can browse his inventory. And here we are. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he's selling this week.
My will is not my own. It is yours.
Alright, so in terms of his exotic inventory, he's selling the Queenbreaker again, which he actually recently just sold, but it is a pretty good fusion rifle, linear fusion rifle that does arc damage that you should pick up if you don't have it, but it's sort of nothing special. Then he's selling Knucklehead Radar. This is a great hunter exotic that makes you have more access to your inventory and also hides you from others. It's a great PvP exotic. However, it is a little bit of a meh roll, only 61 stats, and not particularly spiky either, so you could definitely skip it. Titans, on the other hand, have Armamentarium. This is one of my favorite Titan exotics because it gives you an additional grenade. And it is an extremely good roll. It's got 67 overall stats, 26 resilience. That is amazingly spiky, so that's really good. Really, the only criticism I have on this is that its mobility is a little too high for my liking. I really enjoy when weapons have the least mobility possible. Armor. But yeah, other than that, I mean, this is a great exotic if you don't have it. But even if you do, this roll is pretty darn good, so you might consider picking it up. And finally, Starfire Protocol, another great exotic for the Warlocks. However, the roll is pretty meh. I mean, the good news is low mobility and really high resilience. It's very spiky in the resilience stat. That definitely speaks to me, but unfortunately, I try to keep my exotic collection well above the 65 range. So 60 overall stats is not very impressive. Let's move on to legendary weapons. First up, we've got the True Prophecy. This is a pretty decent hand cannon. Grave Robber and Demolitionist are not my favorite perks for hand cannons, so I would skip this one. Nature of the Beast, on the other hand, this is actually pretty good. I like this hand cannon quite a bit, and Rangefinder is a fantastic perk for hand cannons. Snapshot Sights I really like for hand cannons, and of course it's got a handling perk, which is always good when you're trying to pull out your hand cannon quickly and tap someone in PvP. So I actually quite like this roll. And if you're looking for a reliable hand cannon, maybe you don't have one yet, you could do a lot worse. So consider picking this up. Also, it does arc damage, so in PvE that can be useful if you need a primary weapon that does arc damage. There aren't as many as you would hope, especially in the hand cannon category. So definitely consider picking that up. Then we've got the Vulpecula. This is another hand cannon. Just like Nature of the Beast, I kind of dig this roll. Opening Shot is pretty good. Actually, probably one of my favorite hand cannon perks. Tunnel Vision, I'm less excited about, but it is a pretty decent perk just in general. So again, this one is a nice option. So if you are interested in getting a hand cannon, you have two pretty decent rolls this week. Far Future. Auto-loading holster is kind of good. Demolitionist, not so much. I would skip the Sniper. We've definitely seen better rolls from Zur in the past. Sojourner's Tale. This one's interesting. Rapid Hit and Surrounded are pretty good on auto shotguns, and I think, yeah, it's got a assault mag, so it's about shooting quickly. You might find a use case for this one. I probably would skip it personally, but if you like shotguns, this one's got some interesting perks that maybe you should give a try. Falling Guillotine, I'll be honest, this weapon's always good. If you don't have it already, you should probably pick it up. But if you do have it, you probably have this exact roll or a roll that's better than it. So I'll skip over it for the sake of having retreaded this quite a bit in the past. And then finally, Swarm of the Raven. Auto-loading holster is generally pretty good on grenade launchers. Genesis, not so much. And overall, Swarm of the Raven just isn't my favorite grenade launcher, so I would skip that one for sure. Let's move on to armor, legendary armor. The first one we're going to go over is the Titan armor. Titans have a very, very good roll this week that we will get to, but first, gauntlets. you can skip them. Chest piece, you can definitely skip that. That's terrible. The boots are okay. I really love that they have low mobility and pretty decent resilience, recovery, and intellect. However, the real star of the show this week is that helmet. Helmet has 2 mobility, which, after my own heart. Very high resilience, 22 overall. Great recovery, 10. And 21 disciplines, 10 strength. So overall, this helmet is absolutely fantastic for most builds, especially in the age of Solar 3.0. You're going to want that resilience to be as high as possible. So pick this up if you do not have a better helmet. It is max stat, and it is very, very good. So consider grabbing that. And with that, we will move on to the next class. All right, let's check out what Xur is selling for Warlocks. So armor for Warlocks this week, just refreshing my memory, is okay. He's got some gauntlets you can skip, some chest armor you can definitely skip. The helmet is okay. High mobility isn't my favorite, but some Warlocks like it. And the boots are pretty decent. Low mobility, sort of high resilience, really high recovery, really high intellect. I like this roll. You could probably do a little bit better, but especially if you're starting off your armor collection for Warlock, you could do a lot worse than this, and the stats are certainly in the right place for my liking, so consider picking this up. But overall, Warlock certainly drew the short end of the stick this week with some armor that is just okay. And with that, let's move on to the final class. All right, let's check out what is in store for Hunters. Hunters this week, they have a very bad pair of gauntlets, a not so great chest piece, a helmet that is quite good. So really low mobility is sometimes good for Hunters depending on what your build is. 2 resilience is not ideal for this season, but that recovery, man, 30 recovery is huge, 20 intellect is huge, and 10 discipline is very nice. And the overall stat attribution of 66 is pretty good. So this might not be the meta right now, but the thing I like about this role is that it could be meta down the road. Recovery in the past has been one of the more important stats in Destiny, so definitely maybe grab this one and put it in your vault if you're not going to use it today, but if you don't have a mask with this high stats, this is quite good. And then finally the boots, which are 59, and I really don't like these. So that is what Hunters have this week. That's it for Xur for this week, everyone. I hope that you got something that you could add to your collection. And for everything else related to Destiny or Xur and his inscrutable ways, stick with IGN.